Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star OS Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 60. You can find any of the links mentioned, videos or articles on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Please look for News Recap 109. So actually not as many topics as typical, so just go over a few things that I'll be talking about today. So first was some comments on the Metaverse Nomads, their last Sunday live stream. They actually were able to get most of the Star OS Titan owners on, so that was kind of interesting. There was an Atlas Brew this past week. There were some announcements in the Star OS Discord about changes to the economy. Even though typically I don't talk about the things that happen on this weekend, I'm actually recording this on Sunday because yesterday was the Showroom Surge playtest, which I was able to participate in. So I thought just to keep it a little topical, I'll go ahead and talk about that. And then just a couple final updates on kind of where I'm at on my gameplay. So before I get started, just a couple again of my Star Atlas projects I'm working on. One is my merch store at intergalacticgear.com. You can go there and fill out a merch survey. And I am ever so close to finally making it I guess we'll call it a soft launch, because right now I just have one product, a Star Atlas mug. But again, partly I needed to get all the technical things done in this past week. I was actually working on getting all the policies. So there's a lot of policies you actually have to get done. So from things like shipping policy to return policy, and then all the standard website policies, privacy policy, terms and conditions, disclaimer. So anyways, so we're getting really, really close to a soft launch. And then the last one is a community idea I have called Intergalactic Coalition, intergalacticcoalition.com. This is my idea of a Star Wars community, kind of a non-guild guild, to be just for people who are interested in being a gamer, not necessarily interested in joining Star Atlas Guild. Not that there's anything wrong with the Star Atlas Guilds, but just a place to hang out that's a little smaller group than what's in the Star Atlas Discord. So go ahead and get into the main content topics. So the first one was this past week. As is their tradition, the Metaverse Nomads had a Sunday live stream. And this time I thought it was really great. They actually got together all the Titan owners of the Star Atlas Titan ships, though one apparently wasn't able to show up. So again, I forget the exact ones, but I'm pretty sure there were three representatives, even though there's 4 Titans. And so that was really cool. The 4th Titan sold, I think, in the week previous, or at least it was announced. So they were able to get all those. And again, it was live. One Titan owner who goes by the username Mandalorian was wearing a Mandalorian helmet. So again, not anonymity is fine. But I guess the other one hasn't. Well, I don't know. I've never seen his face. But anyways, so I think it was an awesome content topic to get as many. And again, I think there was an attempt to try to get all 4. So I think that was really great. It was really insightful, interesting hearing their perspectives, hearing everybody say they're never going to reveal how much they purchased it for, which is a funny joke, but also kind of should, again, there's the whole idea that you can track everything on the blockchain. But anyways, so again, I think it was a great interview, whatever. However, as I've been kind of saying a couple times before, the Titan ships I'm glad they exist within Star Atlas. It's a really cool concept, but the amount of money they cost, the type of gameplay they allow, it's just, I guess it's this idea, and maybe it's just human nature, where we like to look at celebrities or politicians or people with money, in the business space, the Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, things like that. I mean, that's all interesting. And it's cool they came on and talked about what they were trying to do. But again, I'm never, if I had the money, I wouldn't buy a, sorry, I'm not trying to dismiss it. I want to play a game, but I'm not. This is an investment opportunity, and if I had that kind of wealth, it would go to something else. But again, to each his own. Nothing wrong there. But there was really one fascinating thing that came out was the Super Phoenix actually was organized, and I forgot the gentleman's name. Again, this is one of the problems of doing this thing a week later. Norge? Yuck. Terrible. Anyways, go to my website, look at the thing, you can go back to it, it's all there. Anyways, they've decided to arrange the Super Phoenix as a DAO. So I thought that was actually very interesting because at least one seemed to be a single owner. Then there is this GG Collective, which was the first one, but again, they haven't really moved forward. And then the other one was definitely a 1 or 2 person. I wasn't 100% sure on the exact ownership. But anyways, they've decided to structure this as a DAO. And what's again interesting is that we know for Star Atlas, system that they too have structured that there'll be the main DAO, but then there'll be fractional DAOs, and there could be even smaller ones kind of within the game. So I thought this was a interesting natural extension of that. So I did do a little research. I don't think I put the link there, but you can I think it was mentioned in Metaverse Nomads, the contact information for the Super Phoenix DAO. But it sounds like they're going to offer some partial ownership through buying some NFTs. So again, they were just releasing their white paper and some other information. But again, I think it's a very interesting original concept. And I think what was kind of more interesting to me than the GG Collective is that this seems to be specifically a Star Atlas community effort for Star Atlas. I mean, it wasn't sort of like, hey, own this asset in this happen to be game. So kind of very interested to follow how this one develops, and it sounded very interesting in what they've released so far. So anyway, so that was great. The rest of the week was actually, I have to admit, pretty quiet. I don't know if it was just the team was preparing for the Surge update. Apparently there was lots of Starbase issues. And, well, Michael Wagner, the CEO, was actually out of a conference, which seemed to perhaps cut back on his amount of engagement in the Discord. But on the Atlas Brew that occurred this past Wednesday, Santi was also at that conference with Michael Wagner, the CEO, so he wasn't on there. And they were mainly talking about the upcoming Surge. But there was just some reference at the end. I think I might have saw something on Twitter about a quote-unquote wall of shame being produced or created through some data on the blockchain. And again, they didn't mention it real briefly, and I kind of didn't really spend the time to try to do it. But just something that seemed like was about the style of gameplay that this current Starbase is doing, where people can, like, they're just supplying, or no, sorry, they're able to extract LP, the loyalty points, but they're not actually helping to supply resources. Again, I wasn't really following it. Again, I saw a couple of tweets about it. But anyways, this kind of led into something else that, or may not be, that there was I think it was in the Starless Discord, a minor announcement, something, pretty sure it was from Chris, the head of the econ team, about that something, the thing was that again, they're working on the economy, they're seeing how it's developed. Anyways, again, if you're interested, I would suggest you just go to the Starless Discord. It's pretty easy to find. I think it was in the minor announcements. But it sounds like there was a bunch of posts somewhere in Discord. I didn't see them. Again, I only check it once a night, and I don't go back to everything that's unread. But anyways, the fact that it needed an announcement to come out about things that, the economy is being worked on and the team's working as a whole. Anyways, I'm sure there's a whole lot more behind the scenes or somewhere in Discord that I didn't find and I didn't look for. But again, I just kind of going back to things I've been saying on this podcast about things this game has been the whole game, but also individual aspects are just early release, pre-alpha, all those phrases that I've been mentioning before. So I think, again, I didn't follow it, but it sounds like, again, lots of stuff about the economy and Starbase are not really setting well with everyone. But moving on to the last couple of topics. So as I mentioned earlier, this is Sunday when I'm recording this, and yesterday was the Star Atlas Showroom Surge test, which again was a test of the showroom, but more importantly, the Metagravity multiplayer capability. So the goal was to get 1,000 players simultaneously in a shooting gameplay mode where it was faction versus faction versus faction. They had 2 time ranges to help with time zones. The early one, I think, was Pacific time was like 11 to 2, and then there was Pacific time 8 to 11. So I only briefly caught the last 15 minutes of the first one, and I think there was like 450 people at that point in there, but it seemed like maybe some people were just sitting there and weren't moving around because I jumped around a little bit and not a lot of people, even though it said that. So, but I did do the evening one for me there. But what was interesting in between the two is already the milestones reached. So apparently in the earlier session, over 1,000 players were in it, which is great. And admit I was kind of shocked. I didn't think that the team would reach that much given the other past tests. So that's great. There were lots of promotion on Twitter, so I think maybe that has something to do with it. So that's great. When I was playing later, I think at the time I was playing, maybe there was 300 or 400, definitely not over 500. And I have to admit, it was actually really fun. took a while. Of course, I didn't have time to get prepared and learn all the controls and where things were in the map. I didn't even remember where the places where you turn in your tags were. So that took a little while. But it was really fun. I have to admit, it was a really great experience. I think, unlike the previous ones, which I admit I didn't do any of the. I'm still waiting to actually get into the showroom after the release that came out this past Christmas, New Year's time. It was fun. It was just fun playing. Oh, because I think they're real life people. Bots are great, but at some point, you want to see things. But it was really cool when you kind of stopped. And again, there's this motion thing where you can, what was it they called it? The Iron Man or Superman. You double something in your jetpack. Yeah, jetpack. Yeah. It makes you kind of go like Superman, so you can go very far distances. And so if you'd stop after initial session starts, you just see all these colors flying through the air. I have to admit, it was really fun just seeing stuff like that. So anyway, so it was really great. There were some lag, but given the reports from the previous tests, they've came a long way. And again, this was a test. So there was a couple of times when I got into a situation where there were lots of characters, people moving around, and the screen would literally just jiggle and you couldn't aim for anything. So, but again, it was a test. So that was really cool. So we'll see where it goes. But I have to wonder, just because of that, and actually I was talking to my son who's actually got on the top 10. So again, age and hand-eye coordination definitely is in his favor. But he and I chatted a little bit afterwards, and I was kind of wondering, because compared to some other games, I know it's great that we could have up to 1,000 people, but I wondered kind of, when you're trying to do these really precision shots and things like that, and maybe the technology will get there. So I could be totally off base on this comment, but it's like, yeah, you really don't need a massive thing. I even caught myself when I got killed, which I got killed a lot, having to take a long time to get back to where everybody was. And I was like, I kind of wanted to jump in quicker. And I remember back in the olden days when I was playing Quake 3 Arena, an Unreal Tournament. You die, but you could get back in quick because the maps were really small. And again, ultimately, I know Star Atlas is not about small maps. It's about planets and things like that. So if it is idea, there'll be a shooter game in the future. Hopefully, again, they can maximize the tech to make it a good shooter experience as opposed to a single environment that can do everything. But again, we're still early. Who knows what they'll do. So last topic was just sort of how my journey's been going. So last weekend after I did my podcast, I did try to actually get into Starbase. I was able to create a profile, so that went pretty straightforward. But for the life of me, I couldn't get any resources transferred, and I tried it 4 or 5 times, and I just said, forget it. So I tried back a few hours later thinking again, maybe is this the Solana delays, and still couldn't do it. So I'm going to wait till, I take that back. I was going to wait till see if the Solana fixes came out, which were supposed to be on the 15th, and I think some of them did, but then I thought I saw something that said, well, they're going to take 2 more weeks to do something. So at some point today, I'll try one more time to transfer resources and see if I can at least get a ship, or first resources, and then see if I can get a ship in, and then maybe I'll try to just figure out some of the mechanics. Because again, it's similar to the Star or Sage Labs, but of course it's different with the LP and the upgrading and maintenance. But again, if one of the gameplay styles is upkeeping the star bases and you can't even transfer resources into the game from your wallet, again, I'm just not at all interested in being frustrated. I just want to do something with limited time I can dedicate. And then the final thing, even though I thought they said that Sage Labs was turned off in the sense that all the economic loops no longer work, sure seems like Faction Fleet still works, and I'll double check today when I do my claims, but it doesn't seem like they turned that off. So I don't remember seeing any notification that it was or wasn't turned off, but still seems to be working. So anyways, so that's it for me today. Again, not actually a lot, but again, Surge playtest was fun. Again, I guess I should caveat that, assuming you have hardware, but again, my past Christmas present was a new video card, so everything seemed to work pretty good after getting that in my... So anyways, again, just if you're interested in helping me understand a little more what kind of merch you might like, I'm trying to create a Star Atlas merch store at intergalacticgear.com. Please go there, fill out my merch today. If you're interested in a Star Atlas community, kind of a non-guild guild, just gamers hanging out, chatting, not having to deal with some of the trying to follow things in the StarOS Discord. It's a paid community because the platform costs money, but it'll be more about threaded discussions, email alerts, and things like that. Please go to intergalacticcoalition.com, fill out that interest survey. And that's it. So thank you very much for listening. This is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Have a great week ahead.